This is Border Crossings. My name is Larry London, and I'll join you for today's show as we welcome an international recording star to the studio. With over 5 million records sold worldwide, MIKA is best known for his award-winning hit single, Grace Kelly. In 2007, MIKA was nominated for a Grammy, and he earned a Brit Award as the Best British Breakthrough Artist of the Year. For the past year, MIKA has been on a world tour for his newest album, The Origin of Love. MIKA was named one of the judges on the X Factor show this season in Italy, and he continues to promote his latest album. Stay tuned for the very popular musical talents of MIKA, coming up next on today's Border Crossings. We'd like to welcome to our studios MIKA, all the way from London.
Yes, well, kind of.
It's great to have you here for the first time in D.C. at the Voice of America, and we've loved your music for a number of years now, and so the third album is out and doing very well.
Yes, it's good. I'm happy. And also, you know, coming to this place, the Voice of America is something that, you know, you always hear about. I've heard about my entire life. And going into, it's in D.C., it has this certain kind of like, I don't know, this grandness to it and a mystique. Yeah, it's hidden in, it's kind of like a castle. You have to go through security and passport checks. It's very cool.
Well, we're honored to have you here, and you're no stranger to the international audience that we broadcast to, because you have been, you've received 3, I think it is, World Music Awards in your illustrious
World
career.
Music Awards. Well, I'm myself I come from lots of different places. So I was born in Beirut. My mother is Lebanese. My father is American. They grew up everywhere. And so I was born in Beirut, and then we ended up there. And then because of the war, we were then evacuated. We ended up in Paris, where we stayed. And then we went to London after that. But all my family, most of them, are in the United States and in New York. So this kind of like mixture, but yeah, I'm used to the idea of being a little bit everywhere, or being a bit nowhere is more appropriate as a description. For example, this tour that I'm on right now is an acoustic tour. It's not my first American tour. I've done like 4 or 5 now, but this one is an acoustic tour. It's my first acoustic tour around the States, which is exciting because it shows people, I'm behind a piano, and it shows them how I write. It's quite revealing. But this tour takes us until the end of the year, and we're going to Asia after this, and then we go right from Morocco to Lebanon to Seoul to. It's cool. I like being the nowhere boy now. I used to be a little bit paranoid about not knowing where I belonged, but kind of like this radio station, I'm happy being a little bit everywhere.
MIKA's our guest here on the Voice of America, on tour for a brand new album, and if you wouldn't mind doing a song for us, we'd like to
Sure, This is one of the first things that I put out a few years ago. Do I attract you? Do I repulse you with my craziest smile? Am I too dirty? Am I too flirty? Do I like what you like? I could be wholesome, I could be lonesome, guess I'm a little bit shy. Why don't you like me? Why don't you like me without making me try? I try to be like Grace Kelly, but all the looks were too sad. So I tried a little Freddie. I've got an answer to my. Brown, I could be blue, I could be white, I could be purple, anything you like. Gotta be green, gotta be me, gotta be evermore. Why don't you like me? Why don't you like me? Walk out the door. How can I help it? How can I help it? How can I help what you think? Get on my baby, puts my life on my brink. Why don't you like me? Why don't you like me? Why don't you like yourself? Should have been a fish out of gold to be put on your shelf. I try to be like Grace Kelly, but all the looks were too sad. So I tried a little Freddie. I've got an answer to my. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be white. yourself. But you only want what everybody else says you should want. You want. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violent, I could be up, I could be purple. Anything you like. Gotta be green, gotta be mean, gotta be everything more. Why don't you like me? Why don't you like me? Walk out the door. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violent, I could be up, I could be purple. Anything you like. Gotta be green, gotta be mean, gotta be everything more. Why don't you like me? Why don't you like me? Walk out the door.
Well, it sounded great, and I know that was, one of your early #1 hits. You've had several since then, and certainly sold millions and millions, close to 10 million records around the world. But I want to ask you about the new CD, the Vision of Love, which is your third album. How does this one differ from the last two that you put out?
It's well, The Origin of Love is a record that I wrote because, well, it's a collection of love songs. Now, I know that, a collection of love songs, when you say, oh, there's going to be 14 love songs, you immediately start to think of all the kind of cliches about love songs. But this is not like that at all. I wanted to take the oldest concept in the world and try and have like a really modern, young spin on it. So something like, I don't know, funny things, bitter love songs, violent ones, exuberantly joyful ones. It's very hot-blooded, candid, and quite fearless pop music. So I like the idea of something that was an old concept but done in a young, modern way. I knew that in writing 14 love songs, you're really talking about life. Right. You're writing about your perspective on life and your relationship to those around you.
The new album includes Pharrell. You worked with Pharrell. So, I mean, that's got to be a little different. He's a hip-hop, R&B kind of guy.
He is a hip-hop, R&B kind of guy, but he does so much as well. Like, he's quite musical, He's quite, he's really musical, not quite. He does a lot of different stuff, and he's very rhythmic, and he loves all kinds of music. And he reached out to me because he heard my music, and he thought it was he thought it would be a fun clash. There's this thing for some reason in pop music or commercial music, and generally, like when you start to mix with other people from different worlds, it's almost like you're not supposed to. But I don't see why. Because,
why not?
Yeah, exactly. It's good. It's good to...
Music's music, especially here on this show and this particular, venue. Music is an international language. Many of the listeners don't speak English.
Yes.
So what you're doing is appealing to them, and it's, because it is so universal.
Right. That's true. If they don't speak English, though, how are they going to understand everything I've just
Many people do understand everything. Many people do, but they're here for the music.
Okay.
So I want to ask you if you wouldn't mind doing another song.
I would love to do another song. I'm going to do it with the two guys who are with me, and again, with my morning voice. This song is called, well, it was a breakup song that I wrote to somebody, but quite a bitter one, which I turned into a funny one. So it's called I Only Love You When I'm Drunk.
MIKA's our guest. It's the Voice of America.
I had a dream last night and slept with someone else. Does that mean that I cheated on you? It was amazing and I couldn't stop myself. And could it be that I really want to? Where if the things we feel come more than what we do? Guess what, lover, I'm leaving. I don't wanna be that guy. Look you in the face and lie. Someone has to say it first, even if the words may hurt. 'Cause I only love you, I only love you, I only love you, only love you, only love you when I'm drunk. I only love you, I only love you, I only love you, only love you, only love you when I'm drunk. Oh, don't get me wrong, this night I didn't change my mind. It was the drink, it was leading me was such a big mistake. A couple drinks, that's the chance that I take. Well, if I can control all of the things I do, guess what, lover, I'm leaving. I wanna be that guy, look you in the face and lie. Someone has to say it first, even if the words may hurt. 'Cause I only love you, I only love you, I only love you, only love you, only love you when I'm drunk. I only love you, I only love you, I only love you, only love you, only love you when I'm drunk. I only love you, I only love you, I only love you, only love you, only love you when I'm drunk. I only love you, I only love you, I only love you, only love you. I may be a little bit gone, but I know what I've got to do. 'Cause when I get a little more sober, I know I'll be over you. And I may be a little bit drunk, but I know what I've got to do. Oh, 'cause when I get a little more sober, I know I'll be over you. I only love you, I only love you when I'm drunk. I only love you, I only love you, I only love you, only love you, only love you when I'm drunk. I only love you, I only love you, I only love you, only love you, only love you when I'm drunk.
Welcome to Beyond Category. I'm Eric Felton. As the great Duke Ellington once said, some artists are beyond category. Join me each week as we take you inside the world of jazz and meet the musicians who make it come alive. I might even join in from time to time. It's jazz and blues and swing, music that's beyond category.
That's right, it's Border Crossings, and we want to hear from you. Join us on Facebook at facebook.com/VOA Larry London. Join the conversation with Larry London and the whole Border Crossings team, and tell us what you'd like to hear. Check out Larry's interviews with some of the most interesting and engaging artists on the scene today. And not only interviews, you'll find exciting performances recorded right here at VOA Studio number 4. Don't miss our Border Crossings Twitter feed at BCVOA. Be sure to visit our website at www.voamusicmix.net. And you can always reach us via email at bordercrossings@voa.gov. Border Crossings, today's music for today's audience at VOA's Music Alley.
You're a tremendously talented songwriter, and you're in demand with many, many other artists. You collaborate a lot. You do a lot of collaboration stuff.
Yeah. Well, I write. I like to write for other people.
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes I use different names, but because I just find it liberating. I like writing for others because you can. It's like making a suit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of making always the clothes for yourself, you can suddenly kind of like create something and try it on someone else. It's quite fun. It's like puppetry.
And on the website, you have a little video, and you kind of talk to your fans. You sit there in a studio, and you talk about the console, and we don't really use consoles anymore except the volume control.
Yeah, that's so true, you know, because all these, when you close your eyes and you think of a studio, a music studio, what do you see immediately?
The big soundboard.
Yeah, huge soundboard and like racks and racks of stuff. But it's so funny now, all we use is the volume knob.
Right.
Because everything's done in the computer. Well, at least, you know, sometimes we use the desk, but very rarely.
And you talk in that little video excerpt about guests, surprise guests joining you on the tour, on the show.
Yeah.
I may have some surprise guests. Who have you had, or who you planning? Or are they so surprising that you can't tell us?
Some of them are so surprising that I can't tell you because they haven't happened yet.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Over the next few shows, there's going to be some pretty amazing, quite, cool, well-known people joining us. But some of the best surprise guests are actually people who've come up from the audience. Some random people dancing, some people singing, some people tap dancing on stage, literally, because it's that kind of a show. So that's been happening. But also we've had, more well-known people, like 2 nights ago in New York, Kristen Chenoweth, who is a very famous American kind of TV and musical theater star. She started off in musical theater, but now she's so much more as well.
Right.
And she came on stage and she sang with me because I used a sample from the musical Wicked from a song called Popular. And she was actually sent kind of into. She was made very famous by that song, basically. And so when I used a little bit of a sample from it and I re-sang it myself, I thought it would be nice to bring her on stage, especially because the composer of Wicked came to see the show that night, but he had no idea. So Stephen Schwartz was in the audience, and he didn't realize that Kristen Chenoweth was going to come on and sing it with us. And it's very, you can see it online, and it's very charming. We both made an enormous amount of mistakes, but that's not what it's about, because these are small shows. They're for mistakes to happen, and so but it's really cool. She's amazing.
Now I got a listener wrote in a question from Germany, and they asked the question: you're very big in Germany, you're big in many countries around the world. Why has it not happened in America the same success that it has in Europe? Why do you think?
Because a couple things. I think I've never been here longer than 3. Actually, this is the longest I've ever been in America, and I've been here for 4 weeks.
Stay longer.
Well, that's
we want
the thing.
You here longer.
Yeah, I mean, it's that partly, and also because I just don't think that my music in the past has fit in with radio formats, commercial radio formats. So what I've managed to build in America is something that has never relied upon the mainstream media or relied upon mainstream radio. So subsequently, it's all through TV syncs that I get out of New York and Los Angeles. Like my music gets put on ads. Like it gets put on everything from Gossip Girl to The Good Wife season finale to all these different programs and movies. Tons of movie syncs. People discover my music through that. To like the Crate and Barrel, I don't know, winter campaign. You could look at that and see that as like, putting your music to too much commercial use. But actually for me in America, it's actually, it's the most essential exposure I can ever have. So that's how I kind of do my thing. And also, whenever I put out shows, they sell out in seconds. So most of this tour that we did sold out in under a minute. And I know that the venues that are around from anything from 850 to 1500, but still selling them all out in seconds there's that appetite. I'm very happy building without compromise. I'm very happy finding the support where I can find it. But I also believe that, maybe I should spend a bit more than 1 month at a time in the US, because it's such an incredible place to play, and there's such an appetite for music and so many different types of niches because it's such a big country. But then again, if I did that, then I wouldn't be able to do the Mawazine Festival that I'm going to be doing in Morocco, or headlining the Soul Jazz Festival, and all this stuff that we're doing over the next few weeks and months. So it's a balance act.
Sure.
But I kind of like the bubble that I exist in, because it gives me a lot of freedom at the same time.
Well, you are, a true international star, and I know that there's been a lot of British influence in the last year or 2 or 3, in the United States with Adele and Ellie Goulding.
I don't know if I'm an international star. I think I'm an international artist.
Well, you are a star. I mean, look at your accomplishments.
But I don't look at myself like that. I just look at myself as someone who makes music and who's well known for that. Certainly not a celebrity in any way.
But you climb mountains.
I do climb. How'd you know that?
I did my homework.
So do you know what I did?
Tell me about it.
Okay.
Tell the audience about your experience.
There's lots. I like mountains, because the mountains, when you're in the mountains and you're climbing, it's the only place where you can't think of anything else but what you're doing, right? Because if you start to think about work or about something else, then you'll fall and you'll die.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, it's a bit melodramatic, but that's kind of the basic concept. So, anyway, I'd been promoting a record for so long, for like 6 months and 7 months nonstop. So we finally had a bit of a break at Christmas, and I was like, okay, let's go somewhere amazing. So we were going to go and sit in Lamu in Kenya and hang out, like in this kind of blissful African, sandy area. And then I was just like, you know what? This is just too nice. It's just going to be too nice. We can't do that. We have a week. We need to cleanse. So I invited all my friends and a whole bunch of my friends and all my family, and we all went to Kathmandu. We started off in Kathmandu. We ended up going up to Pokhara, which is in Nepal, and we did this huge trek in the middle of literally on, the 2nd of January in the Himalayas. And we were like, okay, let's do Machu Picchu Base Camp, which is, in the Himalayas. And it's about 4,000 meters. And it's not that high for the Himalayas, but it's quite high. Mm-hmm. What made it so completely stupid as a choice of holiday was the fact that once we got to a certain altitude, we were climbing at -15 and sleeping in huts at -25.
Oh my.
We couldn't drink the water in the morning because it was frozen,
right.
Obviously. But, that's the kind of planning that I'm good at. The completely most inappropriate thing you could possibly ever do in January is climb up to 4,000 meters in the hip. And that's what I did with my friends. It was such a disaster. It was such a disaster. I thought it was such an incredible experience. You have to see mountains like the mountains in the Himalayas a few times in your life, or at least once. It's just awe-inspiring. But it was so rough on some parts of the group for altitude and all these other reasons that we had to there was a chopper that had to come and get
But
most
you made
of us.
it. Your friends did, and I heard you did.
We all made it to the top.
Yep.
Not all of us made it down.
Not all. No. Here's another question that was sent in to us. This is from a listener in China. They wrote in and they said, your name is Michael. How did you come up with MIKA?
From a listener
from
in
Michael
China.
Instead of MIKA? You could have been, but it's MIKA.
Michael, MIKA. Okay, because my father's called Michael, and he is American, and although he's grown up all over the world, he was actually born in Jerusalem. He grew up in Lebanon and actually here in DC. He likes to kind of follow certain American traditions as best as he possibly can. Not many, but the idea that I would be named after him, because I'm the first boy. I come from a family of 5 kids,
right?
And so he wanted me to be called Michael. My mother, being the fierce Lebanese lady that she is, was like, no, that's a horrible name. You can't call our son that. And he was grievously offended. So what ended up happening was they settled on a compromise. And because we were living in Lebanon and there was also and Arabic and French were the 2 languages. So Michael is Michael. So she was like, okay, so we'll call him Mika, but legally you can call him Michael Holbrook Penniman Jr., if that's really what you need to call him. So my legal name is Michael Holbrook Penniman Jr. Second.
Right.
But
Mika's easier to
But
remember.
Mika's a lot easier. It's kind of nice.
Especially when you're in this business. But Mika is our guest, and I understand you can speak a number of different languages. You just went through, Arabic and French, but you also speak Spanish fluently?
I speak Spanish, yes.
Well,
no, I wouldn't say fluently, but I speak it all right.
You want to incorporate any of that into your music ever? I mean,
actually, I've just recorded a little bit of Spanish for a song.
Look at that.
Yeah. I have just a bit. It was quite fun singing in another language.
That's great.
I sing in French.
And the new album has French, right?
The new album has some French in it as well. Because I grew up in Paris.
Right. The Origin of Love. And people can get it on your website, I'm sure, and they can get it on Amazon, iTunes, all around the world, wherever they can buy an album.
Or they can listen to it on YouTube.
They can listen on YouTube. Go to your Facebook page.
Yeah, but of course, not.
You have 2 million followers on Facebook. That's fantastic.
I do.
That's huge.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. That's huge. Maybe you could send a blast out about being here on The Voice of America.
Yeah.
Get us some more followers.
Are you serious? You have enough followers already. Maybe you can kind of
send some your way.
Spread the wealth a little in my way.
You're going to do one more song for us?
I am.
I want to say, I really am honored to have you because we played your music. I get a lot of requests for your music for Grace Kelly. There's a lot of fans, they love that, one of your earlier hits and all the other songs you put out.
That's very cool. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
It's our pleasure.
This song's called Underwater. Bursting through a blood-red sky, a slow landslide, and the world I've left behind. It's enough to blow your head and disappear and not be seen again. When I fall to my feet, wearing my heart on my sleeve, all I see just don't make sense. You are the bolt of my car, shot and leaving me raw. Now I know you're amazing. 'Cause all I need is the love you bring. underwater, underwater. With your love I can breathe underwater. I can live underwater. With your love I can live. Flying through a bright blue sky with a space boy high from the world I've left behind. It's enough to blow your head and disappear and not return again. When I fall to my feet, when my heart on my sleeve, honesty just don't make sense. You are the port in my heart, shots and leaving me wrong. Now I know you're amazing. 'Cause all I need is the love you breathe. Put your lips on me and I can live underwater, underwater, underwater. With love I can breathe underwater, underwater. I can live underwater. With love I can breathe underwater, underwater, underwater. I can live underwater. With love I can breathe underwater, underwater. We could live underwater. With your love we can live underwater.
Thank you so much for coming by again.
Thank you for having me.
Really, it's a pleasure. And is there anything you want to say to our international audience? People who are in Africa, they're in Kenya, Nepal, they heard you talking about, you're going to Asia. People are listening to you right now in Asia.
Wow. I mean, it's very rare that you get to speak across so many different places. So it's just, it's really quite, it almost feels, it feels so forward and kind of futuristic, but at the same time so incredibly old-fashioned, you know, so romantic, this idea of like the World Service Radio. But it's, yeah, no, it's a pleasure to be here. And, you know, I am the nowhere kid, but as a result, I get to become a citizen of all these different places and make my home through my music wherever I am. So from Morocco to Indonesia to you know, France, to here in DC, the kind of scariest place of all, which it is, I get to feel at home. So it's a privilege.
Well, someone like you with all the great music you've put out and your stardom around the world, you'll always have a home somewhere on the planet because they all know you and love you around the world. So thank you, Mika, for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. This is the Voice of America. I'm Larry London. Our special guest has been Mika today. Stay tuned. There's more music coming your way on Music Alley.